Well, good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten. Excuse me, DP Knudten. And it's time for another Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And boy, that done part is getting pretty close to done. What am I talking about? I'm talking about creating a brand new book by January 1st, 2021. On that very day, I'm going to be uploading press-ready PDF files to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform, where I will be self-publishing a brand new book that looks a little something like this. Nonfiction Brand, Discover, Craft, and Communicate the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are. And yeah, that's what I'm working on and have been every night since Friday, March 5th of earlier this year. In fact, tonight is episode 270 consecutive of this consecutive live stream streak. And, that means I have 31 days left to go because the files have to be ready by December 31st of 2020 so I can upload them the very next day. The very first thing I do in 2021 will be the creation of a brand new book. Kind of cool, huh? Right? Yeah, it's a big, audacious goal and one I've been working on for quite a while. As I said, 270. Tonight is episode 270. So that's a lot of consecutive days working on the book. But frankly, it's the only way I was going to get this book done because, I work during the day and a lot of my energy is spent on that stuff. And then I've got a family and all that. So enlisting you as my peer pressure posse has been really an excellent ninja trick to get me to actually do this. So every night coming down here, I'll spend half an hour to an hour working on the book, moving it forward in one form or another. And right now, the book's in really good shape. In fact, it's gotten to the stage where it's all about the editing. So let me take you on over to Scrivener, the application I'm actually using to write this book, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Right here, Scrivener, main window. This is where you do the writing. Over here, you've got a pane that shows you all the chapters or subsections, etc. And what I'm doing right now is I'm editing all the blue sections to give them the green flag of completeness and go, go, go. Well, what does that mean? It means I'm going to go through these literally word by word and read them aloud because that's a killer tip. If you want your copy to be vocal, vocalize it. And that's what I do. Anytime that I read a sentence and I stumble on it or I run out of breath or the rhythm and tempo isn't right, maybe there needs to be some punctuation cues for the reader, that's what I'm looking for tonight. I want to see if this stuff reads well. So let's see. Let's go right here. And without further ado, Equinox EQ 304. Ding, 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 ding. Look familiar? It's not a password. It's not an astronomical body. It's not a model number for a graphic equalizer either. It's so what exactly is Equinox EQ 304 and why is it so important to me in terms of my personal brand? I was being cute there. Get rid of the cuteness. In terms of my personal brand, the simple answer is the Equinox EQ 304 eyeglass frame set is the one I've come to love so much that I've bought 5 pairs just to have them ready for new lenses as my prescription changes over time. They aren't all that odd, but boy, I love the way they fit my face, sit on my nose, and provide a subtle yet consistent foundation for my visual brand look. Anyone who wears glasses knows exactly what I'm talking about. We all go through phases regarding frames over time. The want to look cool phase, the make me look artsy phase, the I want to be mistaken for a European phase, and then finally the I just want to look exactly, I want to look exactly like who I am, but maybe just turned up a notch one. That's exactly where I am now, and that's what I got when I found the Equinox EQ 304. Find the frames that make you look smarter and younger at the same time? Buy them in bulk. There's nothing special about the frames, no crazy color, just matte black on the front, plain black arms, and a shape. And the shape's style has more in common with Buddy Holly's look than any contemporary designers. but that's exactly what I like about them. And now that I think about it, I'm really digging the Buddy Holly aspect of the shape and how it relates to my completely true to the completely true nonfiction brand I am, and have codified for myself. See, for you young'uns not schooled up on the early years of rock and roll, Buddy was a geeky-looking kid from Lubbock, Texas, who just happened to write and perform some of the most important hits in the brand new all-American musical genre. His band, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, influenced just about every rocker that came after, including four lads from Liverpool. Ever wonder how the Beatles got their name? It's because they loved the Crickets. See what they did there? Buddy Holly dressed like an accountant, but served up subversively hot tunes that made it past the mom and dad filter and hit teenagers right in their baby makers. And the songs still hold up no matter who you are. Buddy, unfortunately, died too early at the age of 22, but the dude lives on in legend. It's the right look and attitude, too. You'd let your daughter date this guy, right? Wrong answer. What I like about this Buddy Holly, as maybe not the, but certainly a nonfiction brand avatar for myself, is that he was not radical in style, but a radical in disguise. His look was Main Street American, but his sound was back alley drag race. He was a fantastic mix of acceptability and rebellion, a polite kid from down the street who's not afraid to break a few windows. I like that. I'd like to be like that, and I strive to every single day. I need a brand avatar, and I think Buddy's a great one. Ever hear of a thing called imposter syndrome? Without pulling out, I talk about imposter syndrome a couple places. I'm going to look things to look up. Because I write these sections separately, sometimes I write the same stuff twice or similar things twice. So, stuff to look up. Guitar wall. Imposter syndrome. All right. Ever hear of a thing called imposter syndrome? Without pulling a copy of Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders for a complete definition, let's just say it's very common and based on the idea that I'm not all that special, so why should anyone listen to me? It afflicts way too many people and effectively stops them from putting themselves out there and makes many think that personal branding is for other people. Believe me, I get that, but I have to tell you that you've just got to get that out of your head. How? Well, sometimes bumper sticker philosophy is 100% right, as in, you got to see it to be it. If you think about it, there are very few originals in the world. Elsewhere in this book, I've written about a certain Robert Zimmerman of Hibbing, Minnesota. He reinvented himself into an entity, into an entirely new person named Bob Dylan. But did you know that he had a blueprint for the man he was to become? He did, a guy named Woody Guthrie. Woody was a road-weary troubadour, songwriter, and performer of original songs like the one judged to be the most well-known American song, This Land Is Your Land. Judged to be the most well-known American song, This Land Is Your Land. He was nearing the end of his life when he was visited at the Greystone Park Psychiatric Hospital by the 19-year-old Mr. Zimmerman on January 29th, 1961. He played Guthrie a new song he had written in his hero's honor entitled Song to Woody. Mr. Guthrie must have liked it, because it was only one of two originals by the kid that made the young singer's self-titled debut album. I include all this detail just so I can ask this simple question. Would there have been a Bob Dylan without Woody Guthrie coming first? You get my point? The great American original, Bob Dylan, was based on the schematics of an earlier American original named Woody. In my opinion, Woody was Bob's brand avatar, and Buddy Holly is one of mine. What's a brand avatar? The easiest and most rhyming definition is the specific he or she you'd most like to be. Like. you'd most like to be like. Not in a weird impersonator or creepy stalker kind of way. Not creepy stalker way. But the singular human being that is doing things exactly the way you'd like to. And here's the best part. They don't even have to be doing what you do at all. Let's say you're an insurance agent. There probably aren't a lot of folks in the specific professional sector that you'd immediately point to and say, I want to be just like her. But there is undoubtedly someone in your personal line of sight that you can relate to on a deeply personal level. Not to be confused with the concept of role model, a brand avatar should be a kind of human touchstone for you as a human being. Let me point to another brand avatar that I've chosen for myself, the late night talk show host Stephen Colbert. What are the things about this person that I've never met that inspire me? So that inspire me so? He's a heavyweight disguised as a lightweight. More than one person has gone on Mr. Colbert's show expecting to get softball questions with no follow-ups and be able to spout nonsense and escape alive. And they try, but inevitably fail because Colbert prepares like few others. If you ever want to see him take on someone and fillet them like a fish, but with a smile on his face, just search YouTube for Stephen Colbert Tolkien Showdown James Franco and let the geeky hilarity ensue. The man knows jujitsu. Yes, the man, let's bring this down. 5 thing here. Yes, the man is best known as a comedian. I don't think I have to say this. The man is best known as a comedian, but like the very best comedians, he's smart as a whip and twice as fast. You'll think you know where his questions are heading and what his personal take on a subject is, then suddenly you're on your back as he used your presumptions in a way that was not possible to foresee. Not in a way that was not. The dude can blind side you with a smile. The dude's wit and wisdom is so sharp. You don't even know you're bleeding until you're bleeding. Till you hear the audience's reaction. He proves that smart can be kind and funny, but still not suffer fools. 5. If you see wrong use of if your agenda is half-baked, he'll give you a shovel and just let you keep digging. But he's never out to make someone look foolish. If you do it yourself, that's on you. If you can back your position soundly, he may not ultimately agree, but he will respect you. period, comma, and invite you back on the show. He likes smart, even if he's not in 100% agree. Those three concepts are just some of the things, those core concepts are just some of the things that make me consciously select Stephen Colbert as my main brand avatar. And while I've realized, as I've written these words, that there's somebody Holly in my blood, Mr. Colbert is the guy I'm always thinking of when creating work. Well, WWSCD, what would Stephen Colbert do? That's a great question. That's a great question. I ask myself a couple times a day, every single day. Every single day. If you ask me, every personal brand needs a brand avatar, an individual or two that inspires, informs, encourages, and edits what you do so that it supports and aligns with the strategic brand you are and are determined to communicate. Were you a publication, you'd have an entire editorial staff to ensure exactly that. But if you're a one-man or woman brand, you have to do it yourself. And believe me, having a well-thought-out brand avatar as the C you want to be, as the C you want to be, can be a tremendous help. All right, cool. So we're going to take that from green, or blue, from blue, change icon to green. Yay. Hold on, I'm opening up Pro Level to make sure my mic is actually going out, because the last two nights, due to user error, I was doing these live streams and my mic wasn't on. Smart, huh? Anyway, that's an application called Pro Level. Well, here, I'll demonstrate it for you. You can see, I can see in real time what my mic is doing. And right now it's only set for my voice to be showing up on the left side. This is not a stereo mic, but anyway, I can see it's working. So let's continue, shall we? Okay, Jay Bear, really cool guy. Let's see, 1,762 words in this section. What size is this photo? I think I'm doing it down to 200. It's loud and proud. Okay, a penchant for plaid. Jay Bear, lovely man that he is, has a chronic condition over which he has no apparent control. The dude just cannot get enough plaid. So much so, if you happen to see him strolling down a street or hallway wearing a color, if you happen to see a man strolling down a street or hallway wearing a colorfully loud plaid suit, it's probably him. And I'm not kidding. Jay Bear is like his suits. That's why I had that in there. Loud and proud. Well, before we go too deep into before we go into a deep discussion about that package, let's get a brief sample of the man inside. For a complete look, head over to... I'm going to take this out. Jay's written a bunch of New York Times bestsellers, including my fave, Talk Triggers. He's a highly sought-after speaker and an inductee into both the word-of-mouth marketing and professional speakers halls of fame. And professionals. His Convince and Convert empire is instrumental in identifying trends and leading the conversation in a number of marketing sectors. And he does, I don't need the O. And he does podcasts too, including the popular Social Pros and Standing Ovation podcasts and the Talk Triggers video show. Busy? Yes, he is. As busy as the fabrics in his signature bespoke suits. And that brings us back to the package, to Jay's visual personal brand packaging, those Technicolor test patterns he loves to wear. While not every personal brand goes to his extreme, Mr. Bear does when it comes to visual branding. While not every personal brand goes to his extreme, when it comes to visual branding. Personal brand packet, visual branding. Yeah, let's do that. Most fully realized visual branding. Most fully realized personal brands have some specific design, typography, and color palette cues that differentiate it from that cues that help differentiate them from their. Okay, so let's see. Most fully realized personal brands have some specific design, typography, and color palette cues that help differentiate them from their competitors. But with Mr. Bear, it's all about the suit. Just head over to his www.jbear.com website and you'll see what I mean in spades. The guy is continually walking a tightrope between cool and class and between, I don't want to say classless, between cool and crazy quilt. I'm happy to say that, in my opinion, he never falls off. His signature plaid suits are beyond legendary. I'd call them epic, but only because of the strategy behind them. I had a feeling that there was a lot of there regarding his style of suit, so I was thrilled to have Jay on the Nonfiction Brand podcast. We talked specifically about his suit strategy, and I was amazed at how deep and well thought out it was. It all has to do with consistency and getting bored of being consistent. As a colleague said, what everybody else does is they pick a topic and they write 11 books about that topic over the next 20 years. You write a new book. You write a new book every 3 years. How come? I write a new book every 3 years. How come? Because I get bored. I'm interested in a lot of things. From a personal brand standpoint, that can actually get to be a bit problematic, which is one of the reasons why I stick to my knitting. No pun intended with the suit thing, right? That I'm always wearing the plaid suit when I'm speaking in public because I know I can stay with that element. Now, that sort of frivolity, it's just window dressing. It really doesn't speak to my value as an expert, what have you, but people remember it. I'm going to hit that with some bold. And the reason I started wearing the plaid suits all the time was because I wanted something meeting planners could tell a story about other than just, yeah, he gave a good speech. The speech was really good. Yeah, he gave a good speech. That is just so damn smart. Unlike other personal brands that embrace an uncommon hair color or other obnoxious look at me style, Jay's plaid suits are continually changing while remaining well, from their height. While remaining tightly aligned to his personal brand. When I asked him about this, he said something that made my jaw drop. I don't know if you know the story, DP. I don't know if you know this story, DP. So the way we do it, it's not just me wearing a plaid suit, right? I've got a bunch of them, right? It's not me. And I've got a bunch of them. When a meeting planner books me to give a presentation, offline or now online, video presentation, let's say give a video presentation, they get a link to a website, and you can go there now. It's dressjbear.com. We build this little app, and you can pick out what suit you want me to wear at your event. And it goes on my calendar, and I make sure to wear that suit. Build a bear for your next event, conference, or meeting. Yes, dressjbear.com exists. Here's a screenshot. Here's screenshot proof. Too bad this book is printed in black and white. The colors are amazing. Did you hear that? Listen to Jay's 2 episodes, number 99 and 100. 2. Episodes. He's got a website that allows event planners to specify what suit he should be wearing when he speaks for their event. Speaks for their event. As a conversation generating strategy, that is so smart. He told me that by the time the event booker had reached that point, comma. He told me that by the time the event booker had reached that point, the conversation was not about how much he charged or what he should talk about, but what day he'll be there and what suit he should be wearing for the presentation. And get this, he's gotten big dollar bookings. He's gotten big dollar bookings because one event booker talking to another, because he's gotten big dollar bookings because event bookers began talking to each other, not about how good he is or his topic expertise, but because of his dressjbear.com website. How cool is that? In my mind, Jay has visually branded himself to a level very few have reached. Think about it. Who else has a look that is so consistently tied to the person themselves that you'd be able to recognize them across an airport concourse? Seriously, the only characters more visually branded than Jay Bear are citizens of the Marvel or DC Comics universes. Is visually branding yourself a personal branding superpower? A personal branding superpower? If you ask me, yes. And Jay Bear is Ladman. Protector. Jay Bear is Plaidman. heard of. Is Plaid Man. Super brand, super personal brand. And I guess that makes Gay Bear. Plaid Man. What I want a Plaid Man. Keeper of the keynote. I have to sneeze. Hold on. I could have hit my mute button, but I probably wouldn't have unmuted myself based on my last 2 days' performances. Should you be thinking about visually branding your personal brand? Without a doubt, yes. Your web presence should have a distinct logo, color, and graphic styling that never varies. Maybe you've got a signature look or feature that distinguishes you from all others. Remember the late, great country singer Johnny Cash? What was his universally known nickname? The Man in Black. Why? What did he wear at every single concert, public gathering, or TV appearance? Why? Because of what he wore every single concert, public gathering, or TV appearance. Black hair, black clothing. Let's give that a long dash. Black clothing in a variety of countrified styles. Do you need to invest in a whole new wardrobe to brand yourself as effectively as Johnny Cash or Dre Bear? J Bear? No, you do not. For there are many different ways to visually brand yourself, as this true story about my friend Neil Schaefer proves. If you're the only one following the rules, it's time to break them. I have adopted Social Media Marketing World in San Diego as the one conference that I will gladly pay top dollar to attend. I've learned so much from so many there that it's become my go-to for new ideas, energy, contacts, and inspiration. This past year, 2020, was no exception, as I was able to attend mind-expanding sessions with the likes of Rory Vaden, Melanie Diesel, Park Howell, Ann Hanley, Paul Raimondo, Pat Flynn, and more. What's his name? One of my favorite presentations was by my friend Neil Schaefer on the topic of influencer marketing, how to maximize your ROI. Having already attended a number of sessions, I was intrigued to see what Neil's presentation was. I was intrigued to see that Neil's presentation was fully branded with the colors, typography, and graphic styling of the conference itself. Why? I had to know, because none of the other speakers did the same. The final night of the conference, I had the opportunity to talk with Neil, and I asked him about his brand versus conference brand visual look. He told me that the conference required speakers to use their PowerPoint template. I said, that's funny. No one else used it. No one else did. and went on to give him my 2 cents regarding how it was in the conference's best interest to be a house of brands rather than that enabled speakers to their own look, feel, rather than a branded house that insisted supporting the brand look of the event we were already attending. The whole house of brands versus branded house thing is all about maximizing brand value. But it's always a question of which brand. In the case of Neil, I passionately advocated for him to maximize his personal brand visually via every slide in his presentation. As I explained to him, we were already at the conference venue. So how did it benefit either him or the conference organizer to make his presentation look like every other presentation at the event? And actually, the event benefited greatly from having a variety of recognizable personal brands that work collectively to elevate the event's brand by highlighting the quality and diversity of its speakers. This making sense to you? If not, just answer this question. Which supermarket is more valuable to you as a grocery buyer? The one with only store brands, or the one with a vast variety of best-in-class brands in every category? For most people, the supermarket with the best of the best is far more attractive and valuable. So my question for Neil was, why would you ever want to package yourself as a store brand? Kirkland? Neil Schaefer? Be good, but not good. That was a pretty provocative thing to say to someone who just did exactly as he was asked by event organizers. But hey, that's my brand. And guess what? Neil contacted me several weeks after the event to collaborate on creating a fully Neil Schaefer branded look and feel for his presentations. He realized that what he was doing as a nice thing for the event actually weakened his personal brand in the long term. Once he heard that no other speakers at the event were using the requested template, he jumped at the chance to enhance his brand, while actually doing more of the same for the event's brand at the same time. A conference of house brands is nowhere near as interesting, diverse, attractive, or valuable as one that embraces a house of best of brands approach. And I knew we were onto something very good when Neil relayed an event booker's response to his new improved presentation look. Wow, that's really branded. Why, yes, it is. And the brand is Neil Schaefer's. Nonfiction brand. I should actually move this. Actually, I don't even say this about Neil. Let's say it again. If you don't own it, it's not yours. But your personal brand, including the visual packaging of it, that's 100% yours. So own it, and own it big time. And don't be afraid to your brand in a way that attracts attention even from across crowded room or concourse. Neil stories. Days and Neil stories. Yeah, let's say it again. If you don't own it, it's not yours. But your personal brand, including the visual packaging of it, that's 100% yours. So own it, and own it big time. And don't be afraid to package your brand in a way that attracts attention, even from across a crowded room. Or football stadium, sports. Stadium. From a crowded room. Across. Yeah, crowded room. Something like that. All right. So that's blue. Let's change that over to the coveted green. There we go. That's looking cool. Neil shake. I shouldn't mention the fact that I wrote about him earlier. About Neil earlier in a section about personal brand packaging. Personal brand packaging. But he also has another story worth telling, worth understanding. About the value branding. You, not your business. And it all started when no, it's SCH. Earlier, it all started when Neil wrote his first book. And it all, period. First book, period. He, thinking ahead. All right, so I'm not gonna go through this tonight. I'll do it later, but actually I'll do it much later. So yeah, that's looking good. So I'm gonna close this up for tonight because I don't need to burn myself out, even though I only have 31 days left, or today is day 31, right? It's the first of the month. So that means the 31st of the month is the end of the month. So I only have 30 days left now to get this thing done. Wow. Definitely got to kick things into gear. So I'm going to put this to bed tonight so that I can come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, to continue working on the book. Sorry, wrong button. And let's keep doing the same thing, working on editing the book, making sure it all gets done. And it's all ready to go by the end of the month, because that's what I promised you when I enlisted you into my personal, what do I call it? The personal accountability posse. No, it's 3 Ps. I forget what it is. Anyway, see, I'm getting tired. I can't remember. But you definitely have helped me by making me come down here every single night for 270 nights to work on this. So thank you very much for that. That's it for me tonight. Oh, by the way, today is Tuesday. That means a new Nonfiction Brand podcast came out yesterday featuring Kate Toon from Sydney, Australia. Check it out. Look for Nonfiction Brand and this image, my picture in black and white, and the words Nonfiction Brand, and will know that you've got the right podcast, because that actually is the cover art for the podcast. So check it out wherever you get your podcast for free, and I'll see you tomorrow night. But first, theme music. Take us on out. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.